welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish, and sorry about the long absence. We're going to do an audio-only show today. Unfortunately, the studio is an absolute mess, and I don't have time to set up for lights right now, unfortunately. We got too much going on, but a lot going on. Unfortunately, I haven't had an opportunity to watch a whole lot of wrestling, which sucks because one, I do a wrestling show, and two, WrestleMania is coming up very soon. So that there's that, I should say. Been a lot of stuff going on in my life. Just haven't had time. Unfortunately, not able to watch wrestling. Not able to kind of even pay that much attention. Unfortunately, just life going on. But I wanted to make a show, like I said, audio only show. If I could speak properly, that'd be nice someday. Audio only podcast and touch on really just kind of one thing. And this might be a short show. It might be a long show. I don't know. I'm going to kind of fly off the cuff here. But unfortunately, we're going to start the show off with a rest in peace. Rest in peace, Kevin Scandato. Kevin Scandato, and I'm probably massacring his real name. I apologize for that, and I'm not even the slightest bit Italian, but Kevin, better known as Kevin Castle in the podcasting world, passed away Monday afternoon, the 7th of April. I would be remiss if I didn't do some kind of show or some kind of little audio snippet at least to honor the passing of Kevin and honor his life. Those of you that don't know who Kevin Castle was, he was one half of Don Tony Kevin Castle show. 20 years with that show, actually. Just celebrated their 20th anniversary. And also a part of Wrestling Soup. So, it was great to hear him on both of those platforms. If I'm saying a lot, I'm sorry, because it still takes a little bit of time to set in, I should say. I did not personally know Kevin, but I had some interaction with him in the past, many years ago. I actually contacted him through Don Tony Kevin Castle show, and he replied to a message I sent him. Like I said, only once or twice. I know that one particular time was right after I'd lost a pet, and Kevin, being the animal lover that he is, fully understood that and sent me a great heartfelt message back. And basically, I was telling him that it's great that the DTKC show existed because it got my mind off of the whole event and helped me through it. So, and he was nice enough to respond to that, and very kind. And like I said, unfortunately, very limited interaction with him. I would have loved to have had more interaction with him because we do share kind of a similar backgrounds in certain things. We both shared a past that involved heavy metal and hardcore. He was a booker. I'm a performer now, but country music, but was heavily into metal and punk scene previous to this, and I just feel like that he was the one podcaster I probably had the most in common with, and most related to. Sorry. Other than that, I had sent a message to Don Tony. I've sent a message to Wrestling Soup, which Missionary responded to me. Not shockingly or surprising at all that Don Tony hasn't responded to my message. I don't know if he ever will, because he's probably so inundated right now with not only grief, but several DMs. So I know that thousands of people have responded to this, which is kind of heartwarming to see. and here. Not only was he a podcaster, he did book and manage bands in the New York, excuse me, in the New York scene. He managed metal and hardcore bands. And he worked with, I know he worked with one particular club. But like I said, my thoughts and prayers going out to his entire family and to Wrestling Soup and to Don Tony. Nothing but best wishes for them. It's absolutely horrible thing. Like I said, I started listening to them. Wow. It was probably about, let me think for a second here, probably about 17 years ago or so. And they'd been on the air for about 20, so not too long after the show itself started. Been a fan of Kevin Castle. And like I said, it was probably the most identifiable for me as a podcasting personality. So I did relate to him quite a bit, and I was very happy when I wasn't happy when he had the fallout with Don Tony, but I was happy when he came on to Wrestling Soup after that, and then eventually reunited after 2 or 3 years with Don Tony. So it was great to hear his voice again. Always very kind of pragmatic with his analysis of wrestling. Very seemingly very knowledgeable of the business. You know, and the how storylines work, what sells, what doesn't. You know, what motivates wrestling, which is marketing. You know, marketing and I should say merchandise. I should say. So it was always great to hear his take, his analysis of various events and various things happening in wrestling. I noticed that Karrion Kross had tweeted a couple of things about his passing. Excuse me. Kevin and Karrion were friends, so I was happy to see that he had. He being Karrion Kross had posted some things, and I know Corey Graves has posted something about Kevin's passing. So, and it's weird because I keep saying Kevin as if he was a friend, because after you listen to somebody for that many years, you actually feel like you know them, even though having heard John Draper's analysis of things, Kevin Castle was more of a character for Kevin Scandato. And I'll get to that in a little bit. But, excuse me. Yeah, getting to that, I should say, Don Tony had missionary John Draper, who's Kevin's brother. Those who don't know, John Draper, not being his real name, obviously being his podcasting name, his personality, alter ego / on the Don Tony show of I believe the night of Kevin Castle's passing, and out of respect to him, I'm going to, I think, refer from this point on as Kevin Castle, just because I kind of feel in a weird way that the kayfabe names kind of like, if you see CM Punk in a grocery store, he's going to get mad if you walk up to him and call him Phil. So I kind of, out of respect, I'll refer to him as Kevin Castle. But that show, I did get to listen to the entire show. I started listening to the follow up of that, and I listened to a little bit of the Wrestling Soup with Joey Numbers and Missionary, and I haven't completed those two, but I did get to listen to the full show that they did that Monday night with Draper, Missionary, and Don Tony, and it was great to hear Missionary interact with Don Tony, because they had a falling out a few years ago too, and it was great to hear Missionary interact with Don Tony again. So that was really cool. It was good to hear them bury the hatchet a little bit and reunite in this horrible, tragic event of Kevin's passing. But he recounted a few stories, whatnot. This wasn't a tribute episode. I know Don Tony reinforced that. There will be a tribute episode coming up if it hasn't already. Like I said, I've been so out of things right now, unfortunately. The way that I found out about this, which is very sad, was I went to listen to an episode of Wrestling Soup, and it basically, in the title, I think it said something to the effect of Remembering Kevin. And once I started listening to the show, I was dumbstruck by Missionary, saying that Kevin Castle had indeed passed. So that's how I found out about it. And like I said, that I listened to that episode that Monday night of the Don Tony, and I guess a Don Tony show now, because there is no Kevin Castle anymore, unfortunately. Don Tony Missionary recounted stories along with Draper. Draper was understandably frustrated and upset. He was angry, because apparently they'd been trying to get Kevin to adhere to a diet, take care of his health, get some sleep. Apparently, this guy rarely slept. Or at least didn't get enough sleep as he should have, and care more about his health, because it seems from what I'm hearing and what I little exposure I've had to Kevin is that he did care more about other people than himself, and he cared a lot about cats. So if you want to do something in memory of Kevin's death, his life, I should say. Donate to a local cat shelter or something, because he fed and took care of several homeless / stray cats, and that really was his passion outside of wrestling, outside of music. So please honor him in that way. And I'm looking at a picture of him right now, and it's eerie because it feels like he's staring right through me, like he's judging this podcast right now, like it's horrible quality. And I apologize for that, dude, but I'm just trying to pay tribute to you and appreciate the entertainment that you'd given me and the years of enjoyment, because he was a great character, was a great podcaster, and I do salute him. Another thing that Draper was mentioning was that I guess he was conscious of his appearance and didn't come out a lot because of that. He would kind of shelter himself in place, and I guess when a bunch of them had united together, because Missionary is in Chicago, Don Tony's in another part of New York, and I don't know where Draper is, but apparently they'd at one point in time gotten together, and Kevin was a no-show for that. So I guess apparently his life kind of was very sheltered and very I guess he had I don't know if you'd call it body dysmorphia, but he was very conscious of his appearance and didn't want to be judged by that, because he was, kind of out of shape, I guess, because he was a diabetic, which I hadn't learned until recently. But yeah, apparently the events of that day was he had DM'd Don Tony that he couldn't feel his hands, I guess, and had DM'd him that and said that he was going to go to the hospital. I forget who, it was one of his other co-hosts, a friend of his, of Kevin's, who actually had called for a wellness check, from what I understand, and they found that he had already passed at that point, unfortunately. And I know, listening to his show, I know that Don Tony was beating himself up pretty badly for that, and there's only so much, unfortunately, that you can do for people, Like I say, Draper was mad because he lost his brother, and for something that probably could have been prevented if taken care of. And because of that, my, I don't know if you'd call it body dysmorphia, but he was very conscious of his appearance and didn't want to be judged by that, because he was, kind of out of shape, I guess, and I guess when a bunch of them had united together, he would, kind of shelter himself in place, and I guess when the my plea to people is to please, if you're in a similar situation, get the physical and mental health help that you need, because it's, once you've passed, your troubles, your pain is over, but the people that love you and are around you will have that hole, until they eventually pass, will have that pain that they have to live with, so I emphatically implore people to, watch their health and whatnot. I'd said previously that, I kind of identified with him. Kevin was only a few years older than myself, which is, to me, is kind of terrifying. I recently lost a lot of weight. I changed up my entire diet. I've been going to the gym again. And got onto high blood pressure medication, and I'm using a CPAP. So these are all things that, I didn't really think of, but my motivation was my wife, my son, my family. I wanted to see my son graduate. I wanted to see him get married. So I did those things for them and for myself. And I know what it's like to have your parents pass. So I didn't want to put that onto my son at a young age, because I'm, my wife, I'm 52. My wife is about, I'll say it is 14 years younger than me. So, my son is 7 at this point. I didn't want to leave them without a husband and a father. So, that was my motivation to change my lifestyle and to get healthy again. Unfortunately, Kevin didn't have those things. He didn't have a wife. He didn't have, and here's where I'm a little confused, because I'd heard that he had a child that from a previous relationship that he had left. If someone can please correct me if I am wrong, I don't know, so I don't know what the full story is on that, and that's really none of my business, but like I said, I can tell you my motivation for getting healthy and wanting to stay healthy, but unfortunately he didn't have that in his life, and because of that, we no longer have Kevin with us. So like I say, let this be a reminder to everyone to take care of yourselves mentally, physically. Do whatever you have to, and please, because there are people that love you, and they will miss you, and they will be heartbroken after you're gone. So you might think that you're alone, you might think that no one cares about you, but it's just the exact opposite. People will mourn, and they will be in pain. So take care of yourselves if you can. I mean, unfortunately, there are illnesses, there are unfortunate things that you can't foresee, that you cannot prevent. And that's just part of life, unfortunately. But the things that can be prevented, please do. Take care of yourselves, people, and please look out for each other. Like I said, when I originally heard this news, I was gutted. I was really, because it's a voice I've heard for a long time now. And something that I enjoyed immensely. I mean, I used to listen to podcasts, in my house when I first bought my first house and I was alone. I used to listen to podcasts all the time, and it was one of the things that kept me company, before I got married and whatnot. And then when we moved to Tennessee, I would listen to podcasts all the way down back to and from Memphis, because I worked at the Guitar Center in Memphis, and it was an 1.5-hour commute one way. So I was on the road for 3 hours. So I listened to a lot of podcasts, Wrestling Soup, Don Tony, Kevin Castle, Solid Monster, but at the time, Chris Jericho's podcast, audiobooks. I used to go through so many of those. That kept me awake at 5 a.m. when I was driving to Memphis, and it was just me in the trucks and nothing else, So, once again, like I said, I don't want to belabor a point too much. And I know I've missed a whole bunch of stuff, and I know that I didn't even remotely do justice to the subject matter, but I needed to get on the air and at least say something and celebrate the life of Kevin Castle. Thank you, everybody. Once again, thank you for listening. God bless. Check out Then and Now Flea Market, downtown Trenton, Tennessee. If you're in the area, check them out. Check us out on Patreon. Check us on YouTube, Spotify, all those places where you get podcasts and whatnot. So sorry that this is a somber show. And before I let you go, though, there's one other thing. Because of time constraints, I'm not sure, one, when the show will be airing again, and two, what the subject matter will be. We might have to stray away from wrestling. I don't know. WrestleMania, I might not even get to see WrestleMania. I don't know at this point. So we're going to have to play things by ear. But once again, thank you for tuning in. We might see a transformation in here, just like, Don Tony's going to have to transform his show. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and God bless.